following program is a peer-to-peer advice show and does not diagnose mental health conditions. If you're seeking social services, please call or text 211 or go to 211.ca. Hello, listeners around the world on radio streaming and podcast services. This is It's Not Therapy. I'm Liana and I am not a therapist, but I am your source for navigating the madness of mental health using my top 10 sayings for going good crazy. I'm back, finally, mostly. So, where have I been for the last 2 weeks? Well, the last year, I'd been working on this major project that I can't talk about publicly yet that involved a lot of isolated work, just me and a computer. To get myself out of the house, I'd scheduled things that involved doing stuff with a lot of other people. The National Women's Show was one of those things, you know, the thing that happened in the second last weekend of November? Yeah, that. I picked up a flu there, but I was also on a major deadline for the very big project. I needed to get that very big project to the agent who wanted it, and I did. I got it all done. I just went the distance like Rocky. I got it, across the finish line, sent it in. It was actually pretty good. And then I got sicker than I've been since I got COVID years ago. And yes, the flu shot did miss some of the influenza A strains this year, but even by those standards, it's not like me to get knocked flat for 2 weeks by the flu. Now, I'm pretty sure that, yes, it was a nasty flu, but it was that cycle that creatives know too well. Finish major project, get super sick because it's, the results of neglecting your well-being in service of the work for a prolonged and intense period of time, and those results come crashing down on you, and you hear that I'm still coughing. I apologize for that. It's better than it was last week by a lot. We all do things that we know aren't good for us, especially this time of year where external social demands are high. And I've talked to a lot of people who are dreading holiday shopping, holiday parties, holiday family obligations. This is supposed to be a holiday, but it's more work. And we keep doing this same nonsense year after year after year, even though it's bad for us and we hate it. And I don't even formally celebrate Christmas except with friends. And I'm probably not alone sitting here going, why? Why do we do this? And logically, I know why. But I keep doing the dumb. And as luck would have it, or the universe telling me something, Steven Puri, founder of the Sukkah.co. Steven has been on the program before. He talked about flow states. People really enjoyed that show. And he was one of those guests I like so much, I booked him to come back right away after he first appeared. So he was scheduled for this week. So I voluntold him very politely but firmly that, we're going to talk about healthy productivity because you're an expert on that, right? He talks about how to do it right. And I am clearly doing it wrong. So Steven will be on later for the interview. And now I'm going to fill 8 minutes more while trying not to cough too much more. I can do the former, the latter, I don't know. Because, confession, again, I know why I got sick. Now, even on a more granular level, that too. I have been pushing it. Adrenal fatigue is not a thing, but I have been pushing it. I've, not blocked off enough time for proper sleep, proper rest, proper downtime, and the all-important bane of my existence, exercise. Now, don't get me wrong. I actually like the exercise I do. In fact, I would like to do more of it. But doing more exercise would mean getting less sleep, and sleep is already inadequate in Liana land. There's no point in exercising when you feel absolutely awful, exhausted doing it. It only took me 20 years to truly internalize that one. And with things being less affordable than ever, right? Right. It's harder than ever to say not right now to anything that might make us money now or might make us money in the future. But I know a lot of people who are sick of feeling like they're just on a treadmill day after day instead of working towards goals. And yet everyone is so totally exhausted that they don't have any energy for those goals. So even you do block off time to do them, you're too exhausted. And ironically, this project that I just finished after a year was one of my, nope, I'm either doing this now or not at all. I have put this off too long. I'm worth it, I guess. Productivity culture isn't healthy productivity. And yes, productivity culture is a thing, right? It used to be efficiencies, but now we're in the age of right sizing, which means downsizing. No one right sizes up. Right? That term, right size, like, oh, it means you're firing people, right? And productivity is the new efficiency, which means it's code for working 60 to 80 hours a week on the regular. And you can't work 80 hours a week, 51 weeks a year, and expect to stay mentally and physically, I won't even say healthy. You can't do that and expect to stay mentally, physically functional long term. And I say this as someone who regularly does at least one 12-hour workday per week. And yet I still feel like a slacker, right? We're constantly lectured about having to set priorities to get what we want, the hustle, right? But that just results in us having 10 different priorities. And when you have that many priorities, you have no priorities. And when my European listeners hear this stuff, they're like, this is bonkers. Europeans don't do this stuff as ridiculously as we do it here. There are other things that burn Europeans out culturally, but they don't do this. Let's face it, those lectures you're getting about setting priorities are really someone saying, I'm upset with you because the thing I want isn't your immediate priority. And while I can accept that, it's disappointing to not be the priority, I'm really tired of people not caring that I'm tired. Oh, but they do care. Oh, they care so much. They'll tell me at length about how much they care. And how dare I say they don't care. They're so hurt that I'd suggest they don't care. But, they're just not willing to wait on anything because I need to recuperate. The minute someone very caring has to wait, they find someone else to do it. And that's when I get a lecture on not setting proper priorities, not taking care of myself, and the dreaded, I'm being selfish. I'm not respecting them. I'm not respecting their projects. You know how it goes, the guilt trips, right? And that's when I cut people off and cut back. But no matter how much I do that, I'm still in that cycle of working myself to exhaustion, getting very sick, and being flattened for at least 2 weeks. And I thought I was getting better. And I was getting better, right? I stretched it out for quite a few years this time. It used to happen every year. But, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of getting this sick. I'm super envious of people who can just bounce back. That 48-hour cold you used to get when you were a lot younger? Yeah, some people still get. I never get one of those 48-hour colds. I get sick. I am sick for at least a week. And that's when I'm taking care of myself. So something's obviously not working here. no matter how much work I put in. So I'm going to talk to someone who knows more about this stuff than I do. Steven Puri of thesuka.co, that's TheSuhka.co, returns to It's Not Therapy to help me make my productivity more healthy. Do you have a story you think would be good for the show? Are you interested in sponsoring the show? Liana at nottherapyshow.com is my email. Nottherapyshow.com is the website. At nottherapyshow is the social media. That is also taking a bath because I haven't been able to get content to my social media manager, so apologies for that. No, I'm not going to be sorry. I was freaking sick. Healthy productivity, healthier than I'm doing right now, when we come back on It's Not Therapy. The following program is a peer-to-peer advice show and does not diagnose mental health conditions. If you're seeking social services, please call or text 211 or go to 211.ca. We're back on It's Not Therapy. I'm still Liana Kersner. I'm still not a therapist. We are still talking healthy and unhealthy. Healthy and unhealthy, high performance. And Steven Puri is back, like I said off the top. I did not beg Steven to come on after he just welcomed a new addition to his family, just for selfish reasons. Steven, Mazel Tov, congratulations on the new arrival in your family. Thanks for doing this while you're sleep deprived.
Liana, it was such a pleasure at last round. This is awesome to be back. Yes, I'm sleep deprived. I ask everyone listening, if I forget something important like verbs or nouns, just forgive me. Okay,
yeah,
we're going to still make it valuable.
I have recommended the free trial of the suka.co to a lot of people, and they've come back. So much. Yeah, and they've come back and said it really did help with the focus. So
we're trying. I'm going to tell you a funny, like sort of off the beaten path story, and we'll get into like deep productivity help and healthy stuff. But Tony and I built that for free. We just felt like the world needed a beautiful place to focus together. We thought community was an important part of it. That there's something about being together that helps you, stay accountable and also have a certain energy level, of seeing other people who are trying to do something with their lives. I really don't participate in a lot of the platforms that feel like they're driven by, rage bait and clickbait and kind of like everyone on Twitter hates on each other and Reddit's people telling each other they're stupid and, Instagram's fake photos of how cool my life is and you're not as cool as I am. You know what I mean? Like, we just want a place where it's like, hey man, I'm trying to do something cool. I'm writing a book, which I don't know if you've heard about writing books. But you have some goal and you want to achieve it. It's kind of fun to do it together.
It's funny you mention energy levels in community and contact, because as I said off the top of the show, I just finished a major project 2 weeks ago after I did the National Women's Show and then got massively sick. And
funny how that happens.
Well, apparently I'm not alone. I did the women's show because, like many high productivity people, we balance out work with other work. Right. So some work.
So that, yes.
Yeah. The big major project I was working on was very just me. So it was very isolating. So I booked some trade shows and things like that so that I would be around people, because I do actually find that my external communication skills erode. But that combination led to me just catching a flu, and I lost 2 weeks of my life. And that doesn't feel good. So
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. How? Because, the fundamentals of my logic were strong. Obviously, my execution was off. So how could I have done it better?
Well, here's one of the funny things. So a lot of people obviously want to engage with me around sustainable or mindful productivity and stuff like that. And the funniest thing is how much they nod. Like, when you walk it through going, there's actually some great research on this. Like if you want to talk about sort of your chronotype and how to manage your day parts, you want to manage time boxing, time blocking, they nod. They're like, oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It's the application. It is going from, I heard about that to it's part of my routine. Yeah. It is the chasm, the vast chasm out of like a cartoon where the characters all fall off the cliff and splat at the bottom.
Yeah, it's hard because if you're like me, where 8 o'clock is not my happy place.
Yep.
But there's been so much put on places like LinkedIn about, oh no, high performers are morning people. And so when do things like financiers want to meet? 8:30. Awesome.
For
How?
the record, we're not recording this date in the morning, so this is
No.
a kindler, gentler recording.
Well, 8 a.m. for me would be super early, like before dawn for you. So yes, we're
But I was
absolutely
up.
not.
I was up
But
at 5 a.m. I have a five-year-old.
yeah, yeah. But how, they say set boundaries, but
Mhm.
that's easier, like you said, that it is in practice. The
Mhm.
chasm from what you should do, because you know it's better for you, and
Mhm.
actually doing it and not have everybody mad at you, that is huge.
Mhm.
So, how do you like, I don't know, put that rope bridge across the chasm to actually make
Thank you
everybody.
for extending that metaphor to the breaking point.
There
I
you go.
appreciate that.
It's gonna be that scene of the action movie where they get halfway across the rope bridge and then it snaps and they have to hang on for dear life. And that's usually what happens
Right.
when you try to set those boundaries, right?
Unless it's a cartoon, in which case they hang there until they look down
The
and then they
Roadrunner.
fall. Right.
Right. And that's
Exactly.
what I think I did getting super sick
Yeah.
because it was just push through, push through, push through. Finishing the project is looking down, and then it's, yoip.
Yeah.
So, how do you do this better? How do you set those boundaries to say to people, like, look, I know that's your happy place, but I'm going to be way more productive if we can just do it an hour later?
Okay. So let's answer your question by first setting up a simple concept that will help across many of these principles, right? And I mean this seriously. There are a lot of people who approach me and when I go like, hey, here's a methodology that's really good for time boxing. This is how it'll help you. Here's a methodology for XYZ. And they're all like, yeah, I know. Right. So when we walk through like, what's the disconnect for you between I know that and yeah, I don't do that. Right. So often it is the overwhelming and irrational way in which we think we can just like upgrade everything. I mean, there's that old joke about, you're flying a plane at the same time you're changing the engines out and stuff. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to do too many things. So everything we're going to say, I think on this pod, which I hope is helpful, both entertaining and also helpful, is really going to come down to, hey man, just pick or person, hey, pick one thing, find a simple way to introduce that into your routine until it's just muscle memory, and then choose something else. And that will accretively build you a whole new system rather than going, it's January 1. My New Year's resolutions are to fly and also to eat
Right.
healthier and to go to the gym and to build cars in my spare time. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, no, I'm not going to do anything. It's all
When
going to fail in one big pot.
when
So,
everything's a priority, nothing's a priority.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
let us take what you said, right? Where you're like, okay, so how do you got sick after an intense period of productivity, right?
Right.
And probably not something you'd like to repeat. I'm just going out on a limb here, right?
You are
Okay.
correct.
But you've done it before.
Oh God, yeah.
Not a shocker to you. So there
No.
was, hey, I kind of know how this plays out, but I feel like I'm being drawn into doing this. I'm choosing to do this. Okay. So let's talk about that. Now, when you said, hey, you know what, I know it's high performers, I'm supposed to be like 8 a.m. on it, doing great things, blah, blah, right? And I think we've in our chats touched on this idea of chronotype. Yeah. There's definitely a shame culture around like you're not up at 5 a.m. jogging while you're reading the trades and also, texting Tokyo. And, it's like, oh, God, please come on. Right. So if you understand your chronotype, which to remind those playing along at home, chronotype is a concept. There are certain times of day you're more adept at certain kinds of things. Right. So if you respect your chronotype, you do respect your body's rhythms, which means your body is going to punish you less by going, oh, I'm taking this down. Like we're going to be in bed for a bit because you did not take care of me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the funny cycle. And, there is an Asian expression about how Americans overestimate how much they can do in a day and underestimate how much they can do in a year. Right.
I can see that correlation making sense.
Right, which really speaks to this thing of saying, like, I think I can bite off way more than I can chew today, but you know what? In a year, I'm not really sure what I can get done. As opposed to, man, if like each month I concentrated on one thing I'm going to add, make it muscle memory the next month, by the end of this year, I'm going to have a mastery over my productivity, right? So all of that table setting done. Let's talk about this, right? Number one is expectations. And expectations, and this is not therapy. I've heard this is not therapy, Liana.
It is not therapy. It is not. Yep.
Often it is said in therapy that sadness or disappointment is simply the gap between expectation and reality.
Yes.
Which is often used to say, like, hey, man, look at your expectations and just say, are these going to make I expect to be president this week and Superman and win the lottery. And you're going to have a gap between reality and expectation. You will be sad, right?
Yep.
And that is your choice, not reality. You can work hard to bend reality to your will, but the thing you really have a choice over is what's your expectation,
Yeah.
So that is the first place to start. And, I think talked about this before we recorded the first episode, which is that simple thought of, if you do wake up in the morning and set a realistic, intentional expectation, not only do you end up happier at the end of the day and feel healthier, but you actually get more done, because the paralysis, and I guilty right here, I'm raising, for those who cannot see this video, I'm raising my hand like this is a problem for me. But the paralysis of looking at a task list where there are, I don't make up 17 things, and they all do need to get done.
Yeah.
Causes me to get less done, right? As opposed to waking up and saying, today's the day I'm going to do that podcast with Liana. I need to, file for my kid's social security number and I need to get these blog posts done, right? And it's like, here are 3 things, totally realistic. I can get those done in the day. And also, feed myself, take care of the kid, all the stuff. So that sense of beginning the day with a simple intention, setting your expectation in the way that reality can match it, is really great. Because when you have, as maybe you've experienced, that high perform mentality of like, today I shall do everything.
Yeah.
It means every night you are telling your body, be depressed, be down, be exhausted. And eventually your body's gonna be like, I'm rebelling.
Yep. Yeah.
That was a long speech. I'm gonna give the talking stick back to you for a moment.
Yeah, because it's a bit early, but this is a good pause in the conversation. So let's go to break. Come back talking more about healthy productivity with Steven Puri of the Suka.co. The Suka company is a productivity and focus app. TheSuhka.co, not .com, not .ca, .co, the Suka.co. We will be back because I have strong feelings on this topic. You may notice when we come back on It's Not Therapy. Healthy productivity, healthier than I'm managing right now. The following program is a peer-to-peer advice show and does not diagnose mental health conditions. If you're seeking social services, please call or text 211 or go to 211.ca. We're back and It's Not Therapy. I'm still Liana Kersner. I'm still not a therapist. I'm still talking to the wonderful Steven Puri of the Suka.co, a productivity and flow app. TheSuhka.co, the Suka.co. And before the break, I was telling Steven what I told you guys off the top of the show about my ongoing struggles with working until I get really sick and losing weeks of my life, and then starting the cycle again. So, picking up, I have feelings. I have strong feelings. We were talking before the break, Stephen was talking before the break, about basically how we train our bodies to hate us and not want to work for us. That idea of teaching your body, I'm going to kick the you-know-what out of you every single day. Of course, it's not going to want to go to sleep at night. One. Yeah. Also, I've seen actual, people pay for these. I'm going to organize your business. They print it out and make it look really nice, and all the information is utter junk. Yep. And I say, how much did you pay for this? And my jaw drops.
Right. And you feel bad for them.
I do, but also I feel bad for me because I'm the one that's going to have to tell them, okay, you have 20 different things you want to do career-wise. Every single one of them is marked priority 1. No wonder you're not getting anything done.
Yep.
And again, we're talking about that Meep Meep chasm from the Roadrunner cartoon, right? Combined
Good
with in
callback.
this, yeah, in this case, when they paint the tunnel into the
Yeah.
that's what I feel like these business consultants are doing. They're painting a tunnel on the inside of the rock, and these bright-eyed people with dreams just run smack into the rock
We've seen how that
because
plays out.
well, they're being told by alleged experts
Hmm.
that, yeah, you can have 20 number one priorities, where what you're saying that you have to pick one is scientifically sound. And yet, I've done consulting at banks. We will not name names. They can't even do this, Stephen.
I believe I can give you some data that we actually collected because as much as I am grateful that you and I can stand on the shoulders of giants, because many
Hmm.
smart people have thought about it, developed hypotheses, tested them using the scientific method, and published, right? So we get to benefit from that. I also, because Tony and I run Suka, we get to experiment with, our group, say, hey, we're going to try this thing, see what people think. And we did that very simple thing of saying, oh, we have a task list that sits on the side of your screen, all your
Yeah.
tasks. And I found it paralyzing. I would look at it and just multitask, which we know is not a thing, right? But it's context switching and wasting time. And we reduced it to say, hey, when you hit play and the music starts, you get to, all the little components for flow state. We hide everything but the three you have at top. Hide it all. Since we did that, our members are 77% more likely to finish three than previously when they could see the whole list, they would finish less than three. Same tasks, same people, same humidity, same, you know what I mean? Like it was just that thing of like, you're less encouraged to try to multitask and less paralyzed by like, oh my God, how am I going to do all that? It just forces you to
Yeah.
go, yeah, I'm going to do bing, bing, bing. I can do that.
Yep. I have literally found that if I've got too many things, it's like some things are going to go on the calendar for tomorrow.
Hmm? Yep.
Something as simple as call the pharmacy
Hmm.
to renew a prescription, call this place, pick this thing up. If it has a place, I'm not worrying about it now. Because
Yeah.
I'm worse than you are, even if I can't see the task
Really.
list.
This is a
Oh,
competition.
oh, it is. We're high achieving on paralysis. Highly competitive on paralysis. I found if I didn't go, nope, that's happening on Wednesday and that's happening on Friday. If I don't
Mm-hmm.
take those tasks I'm not doing today and put them somewhere,
Okay,
I am
you
still thinking
assign it.
about them.
Have to ask. You assign it to a day, not a daytime.
I do both
Ooh, okay. So you
on
actually
some days.
you do time blocking. You're like Friday at 10, I need to do this for an hour.
Oh, I have to. Some days it'll just
Oh,
be at 8 o'clock, which means it's got the reminder up the whole
your
day to
favorite
do it.
time.
But yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But because, well, I can use it for something if it's just a reminder, right? But because I'm working around clients and interviews and a lot of, hard deadlines where it is just almost forced focused, that idea of,
Yeah.
oh, I don't have to do that right now. I'll get to it later. It will stretch into oblivion if I don't give it a space.
Ooh. I
But
heard Parkinson
yeah.
something. There's some law about, I don't know. Someone did some research on exactly that. Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, there's all these laws, all these numbers about how many people we can effectively maintain relationships with.
Like
And
Dunbar's number, yeah.
Dunbar's number, yeah, 150 people. And people have come on and said that number again and again and again. And yet you and I both know we're managing at least 300 contacts on something like our LinkedIn. Everything about society. I just upgraded to Windows 11 and I have spent months just squashing pop-ups. They're
Oh my
useless.
God.
They're not
I
helping me.
My heart goes out to you.
It's standard with the
Yeah.
operating system. And I hate Windows 11 and I had to remind myself I did the exact same thing with Windows 10.
Hmm.
Why are all these and this is all done under the guise of productivity.
Okay. So
Why?
if you're talking about social media, which LinkedIn has gone full on social media,
Oh
they're
yeah.
not even like just a business professional website anymore. They're
Yeah.
just, hey man, we're surfacing videos of garbage, influencers selling you nutritional supplement, instructional videos and stuff, like ridiculous stuff.
Yeah.
But this goes back to the era of Chamath and Facebook, where they realized, oh my God, if we turn your social connection number into a game point, we can get you to compete. And that was, they downplay it now on Facebook because it became so garbage that now you can't read your feed because it's largely people you don't know, right?
Yeah.
And Mark admitted that recently. He's like, we basically do not care about connection anymore. We're just showing you influencer content and paid content, and LinkedIn went the same way. I mean, most of these have gone that same way. And if you remember, there was, oh my God, what was his name? Who did Path? Do you remember Path, the Dunbar's number app? It was Dave Marin. Yes. Dave Marin, who is a Facebooker, said, Facebook's gone the wrong way. These are fake connections. This is noise. It's not helping. Da, da, da. He said, Dunbar's number, we're going to stand on that. We're going to build a house on, you can only have this many connections, right? Where is Path? Because I heard where the Facebook.com is right now, but I've not heard of Path app.
That's the problem though, right? The external expectations for us are not great. And I am working with a lot of clients right now, trying to get them into this mindset of you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Some people are not going to be happy when you say, I planned something for June, Steven, last week.
Wow.
And I was like, I felt like that guy of, I'm saying, okay, I can set something up for February. I can set something up for June. And I'm like, I'm not that busy. Oh, wait, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Right. And so some people are not going to like to hear June. They're going to find somebody else.
This is so true. But the thing is, you bring up a lot of really, I hear these from people, right? This is not hypothetical. This is exactly the thing of like, why doesn't the rubber meet the road for you? Well, I feel this stress around this, I feel stress around that. Therefore, it impedes me from doing the thing that I know would help me, right?
Right.
So can we talk about this for a moment, which is you brought up your calendar, including how you lie to your calendar about 8 a.m. things that are just day slots, which I love lying to my calendar too. I've done that. It's okay. My calendar understands. We've made peace. But the calendar is a really interesting framework to look at some of these problems, right? So let's talk for a moment about the kind of things you can be doing with your day, because no matter how much wealth you have, and I know you're a billionaire, I get that, it's cool. You can't buy more time, right? You can buy more Cheetos, you can buy more cars, you can buy more trips, but you can't buy more time. So the calendar is really the way to track the most precious thing you have, other than my son, which is super precious. So that said, these concepts around time blocking, right? Now, time blocking is not just, I need to set aside this time, for doing my podcast or doing this client work, whatever, but it is also time with yourself. Like, the things that actually propel, like the momentum you get off doing some deep work around your business, that's invaluable, but it's the easiest thing to not hold sacred. It's the easiest thing to go, I was on Wednesday morning and really do a deep dive into restructuring the messaging of how I do, but I got this client meeting I could do. And then you don't do it. And you end up with a lot of, what Cal would kind of say, the shallow work, like the getting through the day work. Approach upon the deep work where you're like, that actually changes the trajectory of our lives. So that sense of how do you treat meetings with yourself as sacred, it is one where you're correct. You need to be comfortable with the thing you said, which is, I know this sounds crazy, but I really am booked like 8 weeks out.
Yeah.
And that you have some meetings with yourself in that 8 weeks, but you're not willing to treat them as things you can violate. Yeah. End of speech. Sorry, long speech.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it's interesting because it's almost like I'm taking on some interns via the local college right now. And
really?
Cool. Well, it's a real learning experience because they want everything to happen fast. Well, it is. Absolutely. Their expectations on how quickly a job interview turnaround will go. I mean, we know the number 6 months before you get a new gig. And these students they wanted me to meet with them last week for a placement in January. And
wow.
Yeah. And
maybe they think Santa's coming. I mean, if you're Christian,
but this is
Hanukkah Harry, anybody.
This is the expectation that the schools are putting on them, that it needs to happen that fast.
Yeah.
And that's
Wow.
not the world. And I feel bad because we talk about, youth unemployment. We talk about
Hmm.
the issues facing young adult men now and teenagers. I really do think that they are being given these expectations and they get out and work and it's all wrong.
Hmm.
So how
Expectations. There's that word again.
there's that word again. Right.
Hmm.
I want to be a millionaire by 30. The number of young people I say, okay, you get it all done by 30. Then what? And every single one of them says, enjoy it. And I said, that is not how life works. You're going to get bored. Trust me. I did TV and then I hit 28 years old and it's like, I want to do something else.
Liana, when you hit 30, I hope you're a millionaire
Thank you.
when that
I'm
day
I'm
comes.
I'm, I'm gonna flip back around for 30 like the Enterprise in Star Trek 4, slingshot around the sun.
Nice.
Come back from
Good.
1984. That we're just
Or
dropping
you
the
just
references. But
fly around the earth backwards,
yeah,
like by Superman 1, whatever it was. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, Superman. Yes, the end of Superman 1. God,
Yep.
all these movies. Gremlins is a Christmas
Movies,
movie,
almost like I've
people.
seen some.
Almost like we were alive when they were in theaters. But again, we come back. It's not like the same problem we keep identifying is our brains know what we
Mm-hmm.
have to do. Keep meetings with yourself. They talk about that all the time. Executive time, focus time, all
Yep.
that stuff. Um, but when the rubber hits the road, we don't do it. And there are reasons we don't do it. Why do people it's people pleasing, isn't it? Like it is that external need to keep Dunbar's number happy, Dunbar's
Mm-hmm.
number squared happy, not being productive, like knowing we're doing our
Yeah.
best work.
But here's kind of the funny thing, if I may interrupt, which is when you say, oh, I'm compromising my happiness because there's the expectation of all these people they have upon me, right? Dunbar's number or grid or whatever. Here's the funny thing is I would posit that it is not just that we want the wealth. Oh, I need to be a millionaire by the time I'm 14, whatever it is, It is actually that is a proxy for I want to have control of my life. And I think money is the way in which I control my life. So if I know if I have X amount of money, then therefore I'm in control. But here's the funny thing is that when you talk about like, oh, I have to go please all these people, all you're saying is I'm giving control of my happiness to these
Yeah,
other people because they're going to tell me if I'm pleasing them and therefore I can be happy. So you
that's
don't
right.
really control that, right?
No,
So ultimately, when you're saying, I want to be successful, oh, my metric is X money, whatever, right? Really, if you dig deeper down, the level underneath that is, I just want to be in control of my life. I want to actually wake up, do things that make me feel happy, find out what those things are, do them. They may evolve over time. Like if you asked me 10 years ago if I'd be happy I'm a child, I'd be like, good God, no, so much responsibility. And now I'm like, it's amazing. And I want to leave your podcast and go play with him. You know what I mean? It's just like the way you understand how you control your life and
right.
how easily you give up that control if you're not mindful with it.
Yeah. And not reassessing if what made you happy 10 years ago is what's making you happy now.
True.
Yeah.
True.
A lot
Like
of the time we hit goals and we realize it was the idea of the goal, not the reality of the goal
that
that we
is
thought would make us happy.
so true. What is that? There's a great, I don't want to say it's a Sufi saying. It's like Rumi or one of his compatriots. Uh, I'm going to paraphrase this poorly, but I hope the gist of it comes through. Their expression is, what is it? What makes you believe that by having this other thing will make you feel it's enough?
Yeah.
And it's like you sort of look at what you have, and like you and I, by many metrics, have amazing lives. I don't know all the details of all your life, but I know a lot for which you're grateful.
Yeah.
And I feel the same.
Yeah.
And I can also look around and go like, oh my God, Liana, my third private jet is just not up to standard. Like, I just, we really have to true that up. I should, let me call
I
someone at Teterboro and get that going.
I saw Elon Musk melting down over the European Union saying it should be abolished this
Yeah.
morning. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like, dude, you are the walking embodiment of money doesn't make you happy.
Yes. Yes.
And
I've
but
actually had dinner with him twice, and it is he's an interesting case study. It's sad that he has so much He can exert control through different levers over many of our lives. But yes, a deeply, deeply unhappy man. You have to wonder, like, if his father had loved him, how different the world would be. But
Yeah,
this is not therapy. This is not
this
therapy.
is not therapy. And
But I'm
you
just
want to
saying,
go play with your kid, and that's a
father's
good
love is muy
priority.
importante,
So
as they say in
yeah,
Germany.
Steven Puri, founder of
The
suka.co,
sukha,
the
which means
suka.co.
happiness. The happiness when you're in control of your life.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
people may not think this is the time to focus because it's the holidays, but no, if you are feeling overextended, put this on just so you can read a blinking book for an hour. I'm not kidding. It's just the excuse to put down the phone because you have another app open.
Well,
Sometimes that's enough. Like really, the Sukha, SUKHA.co, not .com, .co. Stephen,
thank you
thanks
for
so
saying
much.
that. People often forget that. Yeah, but very true.
Oh yeah, put
Um,
away the phone, people. Put away the phone. You'll have 10 people yelling at you when you come back. You'll feel important, but the lack of distractions is so essential. And I say that as somebody who does have my most productive creative time between the hours of 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. I hate
yes.
it. I hate
Yep.
it.
But you see, your chronotype.
It's such an inconvenience, but yeah, if I have one day a week, it's usually Shabbos, Friday night,
Lucky you.
and it'll be I just did an entire like deep lore world building thing, and everything makes sense now in 2 hours. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, but I got it done.
There you go.
Stephen, thank you so much for coming on
Thank you
It's
for
Not
having
Therapy
me.
again.
Yeah, I'm glad it's not therapy.
Okay, when we come back, final thoughts based on this wonderful conversation with Steven. I'm really, really grateful for him taking time out of spending with the new baby to talk to me about this stuff. Always a real pleasure to have Steven on the show. But when we come back, final thoughts on this topic. Questions, comments, any feedback. How do you spell the suka.co? It is THESUHKA.co. Any questions on that or anything else, Liana at nottherapyshow.com is my email. Nottherapyshow.com is the website with the contact form. At nottherapyshow on socials. Be back in a bit. The following program is a peer-to-peer advice show and does not diagnose mental health conditions. If you're seeking social services, please call or text 211 or go to 211.ca. We are back on It's Not Therapy. I'm still Liana Kersner. I'm still not a therapist. We're still talking about healthy productivity. And I'm still loving having Steven Puri of the Suka.co, the Suka Company Productivity app, on the show because it's always just so fun to talk to. And I will work one more like Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote metaphor into this because I do think it is a good metaphor for how we approach this stuff. Did Steven tell me anything I didn't already know? No, he's very charming about the way he said it, but I needed to hear it from an external source. It's like, right, it really is as simple as making a single change, sticking to it, so you know if it's actually helping. It's much harder, like exponentially harder to change 5 habits at once than to change one at a time. Problem is, we constantly feel like we have to be Roadrunner. Meep, meep, right? Boom, just going super fast. Problem is, when we try to do too much at once, we end up being Wile E. Coyote super genius and overcomplicating our plans, and that's when we end up running into the wall with the tunnel painted on it, or running out into that chasm, looking down and falling. And, you know, it's funny because Wile E. Coyote's relatable. We don't talk as much about Roadrunner in those metaphors, but Roadrunner is very good at what he does. It's right in the name. He runs on roads. He runs on roads very, very well. He is single of purpose. Every cartoon, he goes meep meep and runs. He's not even that dog that's in the Wile E. Coyote cartoons. You know, and it's like morning Sam, and they go and blow each other up for the cartoon, and then they punch back out. Roadrunner isn't even that complicated. He runs fast. He has a single priority. And so he's very, very good at that one priority. And so if you are trying, like me, to be healthier in your productivity, I find things like that, really simple, stupid metaphors, like be like a roadrunner, not Wile E. Coyote. Don't overthink yourself being a super genius, you know? Don't think yourself into running out over that chasm and then falling. I find that gets me out of that having to impress and please everyone mode and into the do what Blinken works, meep meep run mode. Meep meep run. I'm going to be doing that a lot. I realized I just watched Gremlins over the weekend because it is a Christmas movie, and I still go bread light when there's a flashbulb goes off in my face. These things work. You know, Gizmo is a guru. I stand by that. He is a responsible little mogwai. But we can be responsible mogwais and not overcomplicate it, not find reasons to do the complicated, exciting, but wrong answer instead of the simple, kind of humbling, but actually effective work, which is do one thing at a time, because we actually can only do one thing at a time. Stephen was right. Multitasking is not a thing. And rest is a thing that we need to do. I feel it when I don't get enough, and yet every so often I try to push my limits. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with, testing my limits every so often. We all can do usually more than we think we can in terms of our skills, but in terms of our allocation of time, how many times am I going to do this experiment, get the same result, and then go, the 1,253rd time? No, this is the time I'm going to benefit from exhausting myself. And yeah, I'm laughing at myself. Yeah, I'm making light of it just so I don't beat myself up, because that's not going to do any good. But this is a constant struggle we all have, especially with this time of year when we're doing, the shopping, and then we're worried about money with the shopping. So go easy on yourself. It doesn't all have to get done in one day. Make a list, make your priorities, even with the holiday tasks. It will help. I am out of time. Questions, comments, any feedback, Liana at nottherapyshow.com is my email. Nottherapyshow.com is my website. Not Therapy Show is the socials. You're crazy is only a problem if it's hurting you. I hurt myself working myself too hard. See you next time.